Yes, Janam, welcoming back all the viewers watching us live on YouTube, Facebook, and various social media platforms to this segment, The Glimpses of the Glorious Past, on the 28th of April, where we see throughout the Leela of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism how we can see firsthand the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continuously doing the Tyaga and sacrifice and building the only Hindu nation, Sri Kailasa. So, on the 28th of April 2005, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism delivered a discourse at the AT&T corporate firm in New Jersey, United States. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained that no miracle or coincidence exists. Everything happens on cause and effect relationship. Intuition can happen to every human being. With intuition, you can take clear decision. You will have the courage and power to execute this decision. Infuse silence in your unconscious zone. Naturally, you will outsmart your opponent. Infusing silence in your unconscious zone is called as meditation. After that, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gave a radio talk interview in a local station in New Jersey. Later that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted an additional satsang at a library and additionally held an internal meeting with the ministers and ambassadors of Kailasa in New Jersey. Let us now hear few excerpts from the satsang which the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gave.
Subject. Usually people get frightened when they hear the word intuition. They start thinking, oh, I'm bringing some religious concept. No. Understand the intuition in a very simple way. For example, you are hearing a calling bell in your house. Suddenly you remember some friend's name whom you have not seen for many years. When you go and open the door, he is there. And when a cell phone rings, you remember somebody's name, some friend's name. When you answer, he is there on the line. And the party, suddenly you remember, you feel the same thing has happened in your life earlier. And somebody is going to come, some particular person is going to come there. After a few minutes, you will see that he will be coming. How many have you experienced something like this at least once in your life? More than 70%. If it happens once in one person's life, we can say it is a coincidence. When it happens in so many persons' lives, how can we say it is a coincidence? Surely it is not coincidence. There is a logic behind it. We need to understand something more about it. In the planet Earth, there can be nothing called coincidence. Everything is only cause and effect. When we don't know the cause for the effect, we call it as a coincidence or miracle. Actually, there is nothing called miracle. Everything is very clear. Everything happens only based on cause and effect relationship. When we don't know the cause, or when we are not able to find the cause, we say it is a miracle. What you experience in these moments is what I call intuition. How this happens? Knowingly, unknowingly, you infuse silence into your unconsciousness. For a few moments, for no reason, you become silent. You give a little bit of rest to your unconscious zone. Then suddenly, intuitions comes up. Intuition can happen to every human being. And it is just one more dimension which we have not explored. In the modern day, the intuitive management idea has become very popular. When an intuition happens to you, not only you will have a clear decisions, you will have enough of courage and power to execute the decision. As of now, any decision made by us only makes us tired. One more thing, If your mind is restless, even if you don't do any work, just sit in your chair and be restless for half an hour, you will have shoulder pain. After half an hour, you will have shoulder pain. More restless, you create more diseases for yourself, and naturally our decisions will be unconscious without any logical end or without any profit. When you infuse silence into the unconscious zone, you go up to the level of intellect first. Means you become more logical, more peaceful, relaxed. If you infuse more silence into the unconscious zone, when all the engrams are erased or removed, naturally you start receiving intuition. You become more blissful, more active. I have seen some people, 24 hours they will work and then they will be alive, active, vibrant, because they work from intuition. They don't work from instinct. If you are working from instinct, 5-6 hours is enough. You will be tired. If you are working from intellect, maybe 10 hours. You will be tired. If you are working from intuition, 24 hours and something more, you will be alive and vibrant. Because you don't waste your time unnecessarily in the unconscious engrams. Our time is not wasted. Our files don't have to go through so many tables. Unconscious engrams. When you go through every unconscious engram, the file is distorted a little bit, twisted a little bit. By the time the file takes a quantum leap and comes out, totally it is distorted file or distorted decision, which we don't even know why we are executing it, why we take the decision. These are the few concepts. Again, I'll just give the summary. The file, any information which you receive through eyes or any senses, go to the DSP, digital signal processor, inside your being, and then the whole file gets converted into digital signal, goes to memory for initial processing of excluding. Then it goes to mind for identifying. Then the whole file takes a quantum leap through the unconscious engrams, and the ego decides what to do, and your body executes. Here the important thing, the more number of engrams in the unconscious zone, more you will be restless and more you will work based on the instinct level, and naturally you will be prey for every emotion. And the moment you start infusing silence in the unconscious zone, you come up to the level of intellect. You cannot be exploited by greed and fear. No opponent can outsmart you. You will be equal. But the moment you come up to the level of intuition, by infusing more silence into your unconsciousness, not only you will be able to work 24 hours, you will be naturally outsmarting the opponent. Because everybody is working, playing with mind. They are working, they are living their life based on reactive mind. When you go to the level of intuition, you can just outsmart them because you know how the reactive mind works. And you can simply outsmart them. Infusing silence into your unconsciousness is what I call meditation. The more you infuse silence into your unconsciousness, the more you become intuitive and simply you can outsmart your opponent. These are the few concepts I wanted to present. Now we can analyze this concept and internalize them through question answers. You are welcome to put any question. I'll try to respond. Yes. Yes, two ways I can define.
The next, we are now moving on to the 28th of April 2006. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism continued on the series of addresses and initiations from the Shiva Sutras in Seattle, Washington, United States. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism explained that anyone who enters into a spiritual life will always question whether they should marry or become a sannyasi. No master is able to give a straight solution for this age old problem. For 3 years, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism studied and analyzed this question to determine what is the best solution for the modern man. The answer he delivers in this video series is not meant for those who feel spirituality is an option. The answer is for those who feel spirituality is compulsory in their life. Brahmacharya is more than just celibacy. The full meaning of the word is living like God, which means living with reality and without fantasies and imagination. The solution to this age old question given by Shiva is for transformation without suppression. Later that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism participated in a research on the effects that meditation has on our brainwaves, which is conducted by Dr. Juan Acosta in New Jersey, United States. And on the 28th of April 2008, under the direct guidance of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, received the home darshan of the deity of the Archavatara of Lord Venkateshwara. The deity was received in the homes of devotees with all the traditional honors, especially the Purna Kumbha, the highest royal honorary offering given to a guest in the Hindu tradition. The day finished with the Archavatara returning to its home in Tyanandeshwara Hindu Temple, Kailasa in Los Angeles, where the devotees had prepared beautiful and exquisite Alankara offerings as a gift to Lord Venkateshwara in honor of his presence and love. We are now moving on to the 28th of April 2011. On that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism expounded on the 154th Sutra, 3rd chapter, 48th verse of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. In these profound Akashic revelations and initiations from the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism elaborated on the topic of asmita and arthavatva. The word asmita means literally experience of I amness. This experience of I amness, if this is connected with the sense, with awareness, then you are living life, means you are straightaway living enlightenment. But if this I amness and connection to the senses is unconscious, then any amount of energy the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism gives, even if he awakens your whole Kundalini, you will have an exhaust pipe through which the whole energy will go away. The I amness becoming consciousness.
I welcome you all with my love and respects. I'll continue on the yesterday's sutra. There are some important points, sacred secrets you need to understand. This is 154th sutra, 3rd chapter, 48th verse. Grahana, Swarupa, Asmita, Anvaya, Arthavatva, Samyamat, Indriyajayaha. Yesterday I spoke on the two key words of the sutra, Grahana and Swarupa. Today I'll talk on the asmita and arthavatva. The word asmita means literally experience of I amness. See, this experience of I amness, if this is connecting with the senses with awareness, then you are living life. Means you are straight away living enlightenment. But if this I amness and the connection to the senses are unconscious, then any amount of energy I give, even if you awaken your whole kundalini, you will have a separate exhaust pipe near your head and that kundalini will go away. End of the whole kundalini awakening session, you may have at the most little body pain because you jumped. That I amness becoming conscious, that I amness I was making fun. Usually when the kundalini is awakened, it doesn't leave the system that easily. Unless you are really adamant that you don't want that energy inside your body. And you are telling it, get out, it's too much. I can't be that intelligent. The I amness connecting with the senses. See, the I amness connects with the senses unconsciously. When you boil in anger, violence, and take decisions out of anger and violence, please understand, the I amness does not act or supports any action on its own. Please understand. Try to see this discourse once more after I complete, because you need to understand every statement. You should not miss it. These are all the high, subtle philosophy. The I amness connects with your senses with awareness when you are in restful awareness. Please understand this. I amness is a pure conscious shaft, asmita. Senses are the matter. If the bridge between the I amness and senses are anger and violence, the function will be unconscious. If that bridge is the restful awareness, the function will be conscious. When the function is conscious, you will have the extraordinary powers, that's all, nothing else. This is the essence. Again, everything boils down to unclutching. The more and more and more restful awareness living is practiced, the more and more higher experiences are gained. I wanted all the inner awakening participants to know in this whole 21 days of program, literally I am making you live these great samyamas. That is the reason you experience the extraordinary powers and the experiences like levitation or divine darshan, vision or teleportation, whatever. Once your biomemory catches this experience, after that you don't need to practice anything. At the most you may need to practice kind of a restful awareness or unclutching whenever you want, whenever you can. But once the bridge between the I amness and the sense is restful awareness, actually in these 21 days that's what I am making it in you. I am just breaking the bridge which you built in wood, the anger and violence, and making it as a beautiful concrete bridge with restful awareness so that it will not shake. So that the I amness can operate with the senses, with more sensitivity and awareness. Yesterday all of you understood. Unclutching before initiation, after initiation. Before initiation you struggled for hours, nothing was happening. Just one touch. After that I saw the whole hall is in silence. I thought, oh God, not even little bit of restlessness, as if little Buddhas. The whole hall was so beautiful to see 100 little Buddhas sitting. Just one initiation, all these fellows have become like little Buddhas. All I did is remove that restlessness, that anger-based bridge. Somehow, all you guys feel, inside heart of the heart, you know you are God. You wanted that same way to be treated by the world. But you need to know, you need to create the bridge between that I amness which is God and the senses through which the world is perceiving you. Please understand, you are actually God. But the image you are projecting to the world through the senses is not showing exactly what you are because of that wrong bridge. The I amness is God, which all of you are experiencing. But the world is experiencing you not through that I amness, but through your senses which is presenting you. It is like people who come and see the welcome center and get banged by some of the ashramites who are unconscious, start creating opinion about me. What to do? They are not representing me. Sometime, not sometime, all the time, your senses are not directly representing the I amness. Your I amness and senses are not connected with the conscious bridge. The unconscious bridge, that violence, when it becomes bridge, the world perceives you through the senses. The actions you express through the senses. The natural world will not feel you are God. They will not respect you are God. That creates more anger and more violence. Then more unconsciousness, more negative expression and more violence. This is what has become vicious circle. breaking that vicious circle, creating a conscious bridge is what I call initiation. That's what I did yesterday with you all. You guys can't understand why you became so violent. You should not claim you are God. You should just radiate through your senses your godliness. Then simply the world will respect you and respond to you as God. Then naturally you will become more aware. More awareness means more godliness. More godliness means more respect. More respect means more awareness. This becomes a virtuous cycle. Turning your vicious cycle into virtuous cycle is what I call initiation.
We now move on to the year 2012 on the 28th of April. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism answered questions from devotees. The first question was about our astrological destiny. Do the planets at birth determine our fate? And if so, can initiation from an enlightened being alter our circumstances? The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism replied that it is not the planets but our beliefs and mental habits that determine our fate. As we have experienced, initiation from the Master changes all of that. Question 2 inquired regarding nutritional supplements and asks for recommendation. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism declined to recommend specific brands but stated that organic supplements in general support both physical health and raising our consciousness. The final question concerned why we should receive a spiritual name. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revealed that the spiritual name has three functions. It shows the path we should choose in life, gives us a goal to achieve, and opens us to the guidance and blessings of the Master. Let us now listen to the excerpt from the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism's discourse.
I welcome all of you with my love and blessings. First question.
First question. Dear Swamiji Nithyanandam, is our life path already decided based on the planetary positions at the time of birth? If so, can it be changed after an initiation from the Master? What is the significance of Mangal Sutra and toe ring according to our Vedic tradition? Married women are not supposed to remove this any time. Is there any spiritual significance? When the husband is not alive, women are not allowed to wear kumkum, flowers and bangles, etc., and they are considered inauspicious. What is the reason behind this? Is there anything called dosha and pariharam? In what way the pariharam affects us spiritually to make life better? M. Suveda, IA ID number 89.
First thing, your life path is already decided because of the mental setup you create, not because of any planetary positions at the time of birth. The way you grow, that mental setup, that affects your life path. Second, if so, can it be changed after initiation from the Master? As I said, initiation from the Master changes all your mental setup and patterns. So it can be changed. Third, significance of Mangal Sutra and touring according to our Vedic tradition. I also wanted to make this very clear. Touring and Mangal Sutra is not mentioned in any Vedic literature. In later on, the set of books called Smritis, the lifestyle instructions. Only in that lifestyle instruction books like Manusmriti, Prajapati's laws, and later on, only the Smriti literatures, the lifestyle books, the words like Mangal Sutra are all appearing. Even there, touring idea is not there. It was added later on in the Puranic periods. See, the Vedic period, Smriti period, Puranic period. To Mangal Sutra on touring. So, because there is no spiritual significance, I do not want to talk about it much. As a social custom, okay. I have no opinion to support it or negate it. And why, when the husband is not alive, women are not allowed to use kumkum and flowers and bangles and considered inauspicious? I think this is male chauvinistic. They are afraid to have a woman fully dressed up without husband because these fellows will get tempted. It is just male chauvinistic, nothing else. So don't bother about that. This is already broken by Sharada Devi. Sharada Devi made it very clear. Sharada Devi clearly, even after Ramakrishna left the body, she did not remove the bangles, she did not wear the white sari. See, even in white sari, she will wear the border only. In West Bengal, with border, you can't wear white sari those days. If husband is not there, she did not care. And she will do all the auspicious activities and everything. And there is nothing called dosha and parihara as far as this wearing kumkum, flower, bangles after husband passed away. Don't bother about that. There are some other significance in dosha and pariharas. I'll talk about it later on, some other time. Next question.
The next question is from Jairam Reddy, IA ID number 68. He's asking, Dear Swamiji, please elaborate the essence and need of using dietary supplements for optimal health. Give your insights about using natural organic supplements, especially supplements from Amway's Nutrilite. Jairam Reddy, IA ID number 68.
Jairam Reddy, I cannot support Amway's Nutrilite because I do not know about it. I don't know whether you are Amway agent. Am I right? Amway agent? So I cannot support the Amway Nutrilite because I do not know about it. But I can tell you one thing. You can use any dietary supplement as far as it is vegetarian and organic. As long as it is vegetarian and organic, you can use. In those days, we used to use in the food itself, like neem, many of the spices, badam, all these are dietary supplements only. As long as it is a vegetarian and organic, you can use any amount of supplements. It does not hinder your spiritual growth and it helps your optimal health. Next question.
The next question is from Des Kumar Sahu, IA number 76. He's asking, what is the importance in spiritual name? Is it effective in getting enlightenment? Des Kumar Sahu, IA ID number 76.
Des Kumar Sahu, it is a spiritual name is useful in three ways. One, this is the path for you to travel. Second, that is the goal you need to achieve. Third, It's my blessing. You will travel in that path and achieve that goal. That is what is the significance of spiritual name. It is very powerful in achieving enlightenment.
Paramahamsa Nithyananda, a rare living incarnation, is named among the world's 100 most spiritually influential personalities today. Paramahamsa Nithyananda has been placed alongside Dalai Lama, Nelson Mandela, Oprah Winfrey, Paulo Coelho and others by
We now move on to the 28th of April 2013. In that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the NDY Day 2 in the city of New Delhi, India. As part of this convention, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism shed new light on the mystical aphorism Aham Brahmasmi, loosely translated as each one of us is God. Each of us carries a design for the cosmos inside our inner space. Whatever we repeat within that space becomes a command to the universe, which delivers what it hears. When we fill our space with fear or some negative event, we are likely to create that event through our very repetition. We can change our experiences by altering the stories we tell about ourselves. Rather than dwelling on suffering or failure, we can repeat, for as long as necessary until we truly believe it, happy outcomes of joy and success. And on the 28th of April 2014, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism expanded on responsibility and commitment. He defined a committed person as one who looks at the future from what can go wrong, from a space of incompletion. He defined a responsible person as one who looks at what all can go right, one who moves from completion, planning, and gratitude. A responsible person delivers. He does not need to be committed. We now move on to the year 28th of April 2015. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism elaborates on the context to keep seeking alive and pure. Without the right context of seeking the truth, even renunciation is used to justify laziness, non-action, dumbness. But real renunciation is action, from grassing the cow to milking, churning curd, offering ghee to the divine or guru, which is authentic seeking. Master's words are the only anchor from the other enlightened plane of existence to save us from drowning in samsara, the ocean of delusion and bondage. The highest spiritual practice is catching the Master's words and constantly reinventing, re-strategizing yourself. An avatar, incarnation, lands to wake us up and makes whatever is too good to be true, true. Later that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism presided over the traditional celebration of the Meenakshi Brahmotsava Pattabhishekam. Let us take a look of the various happenings of the day, the 28th of April.
Today, the 7th day of Meenakshi Brahmotsavam, Devi is gracing all of us on Swarna Rishabha Vahana, the golden Rishabha bull vehicle, and Mahadeva is gracing on Sarvalankara with Roman crown. Only in Madurai temple, even the cultures which came later, the best parts of those cultures were observed into the worship and tradition. So the crown he is wearing is actually a Roman style crown. The tradition says once the Roman king came to Madurai on a friendly visit, and offered his crown to Sundareshwara. From that time, the tradition of putting Roman crown on Sundareshwara exists, and still the original crown is there in the temple as it is. It's maintained and preserved. Still Sundareshwara uses that crown once in a while. Let's receive their grace on this day. Other than the Master's words, there is no anchor available to planet Earth. Please understand, anybody who is drowned in the ocean of samsara, the ocean of delusion and bondage, the only anchor available to raise yourself to the next level is Master's words. From the other plane of existence, the only bridge available to this plane, this universe, is an enlightened Master's words. If you don't catch that and raise yourself, nothing else, no puja, no meditation, no spiritual practice can help you. The highest spiritual practice is catching the Master's words, constantly reinventing yourself and re-strategizing yourself. If your seeking is alive, you will go on reinventing yourself. You will raise yourself by yourself. You will be so alive. You will be so brilliant, so energetic.
How can we create pain patterns with the words that Swami tells? Like, even if it's like unsuccessful, can you just explain me?
What I feel is that, like how Swamiji told in today's satsang, Swamiji also told that without knowing the context of something properly, the truth itself can be misused and can be missed. So what I feel is, whenever you understand the truth with some vested interest and all that, so those are the times, like maybe you started following Swamiji's words and the seeking was there for fulfilling one part of your desire. So your seeking was very high during the start. But when you think that the desire has been completed, then all your seeking is lost and everything is lost. So that is why I feel that you start taking things for granted, whatever Swamiji says for granted and all that. So whenever you are ready to transform, when you think that no, my purpose itself is for me to experience I am consciousness. When you have that as your purpose and when you start working towards it, then what I feel is you'll never take Swamiji's words for granted. So whenever you have some vested interest and then start the seeking in you, so that will be the time, like when you go first to Swamiji, you're like very ready to follow whatever he is telling and all that. So maybe you would have got some benefits from it and then you thought, okay, Swamiji has given me already so much, why should I take any more responsibility? So you start getting into that attitude. So I feel that is what brings you the pain. So this is how I feel with the Master's words, you can create pain patterns in you.
Swamiji, I have been struggling with money and proper job all my life. How can Varanasi Inner Awakening help me have a major breakthrough to a successful career and successful finances?
See, first, what is money and what is job? After all, not having boredom about what you need to do whole day will naturally bring success in your career, and having enough awareness to what you want to have, what you have, and what you should have will bring money. See, basically not having money, not having proper job is not having proper alignment in your mind and having too much of incompletion patterns about money and your life. If that is removed, naturally you will have job, career and money, that's all. So understand, not having job and money is something seriously need to be attended from inside first. in Varanasi. You will understand your patterns, you will complete with them, you will know what do you want, how to get it, where to look for. That will simply transform the way you look success in career and money, and you will manifest what you want.
We now move on to the year, the 28th of April 2016. On that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism presided over the Living Shuddhatvedam Convention in the Ujjainadhinam as part of the most auspicious and holiest event of Kumbh Mela. More than 5 crore people had visited the Mela and Kailasa Nation's Ujjain campus during this 1-month period. On this day, the delegates had the opportunity to have the once-in-a-lifetime experience of the most powerful energy darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, and later a personalized Kalpataru darshan where each and every one of the delegates of the Living Shuddhatvedam Convention got to receive healing for their chronic ailments, boons, and blessings for many aspects of their life, such as health, wealth, and relationships. Additionally, free Annadhan was served to all who came to visit the Kailasa's campus in Ujjain Kumbh Mela. On the topic of Annadhan, it is worth mentioning that by the end of the Mela, the number of visitors that had passed from our campus were accounted to almost 4 crore, all of which were provided with free Annadhan. Let us now see the various happenings of the 28th of April.
May 4th to May 24th, 2016.
We now move on to the 28th of April 2017. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the day 10 of the Inner Awakening Convention in Adi Kailasa, Bengaluru Adhinam. As part of the convention, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism presided over the Nithyananda Yoga and Malakamba Yoga, conducted an energy unclutching initiation and a manifesting Shakti session by providing the extremely powerful Jnananjana alchemy product for the delegates. Later that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism presided over the Shatru Samhara Trishati Homa that was conducted for the benefit of all the delegates of the Inner Awakening Convention. And we now move on to the 28th of April 2018. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism delivered a new clear satsang titled The Right Atmosphere. Additionally, on that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism visited the town of Dhanushkoti, which is located at the southeastern tip of Pamban Island of the state of Tamil Nadu in India, where he formed a Shivalinga in the sand and performed the Shiva Puja as Ma Sita had performed in Dhanushkoti Rameshwaram. Later that day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism visited the Ramanatha Swami temple in Rameshwaram. There he was received by the temple priests with all the traditional honors, especially the Purna Kumbha. Let us see the various happenings of the 28th of April.
Adi Kailash and the Nithyananda Sangha worldwide celebrated the 10th and final day of the Chitrai Brahmotsavam. On the 10th day, we celebrate the Minakshi Tirukalyanam. It is the divine marriage of Sadashiva and Parashakti in their incarnations of Lord Sundareshwara and Goddess Minakshi. This occasion was celebrated in a grand way at the Nithyananda Peetham Bengaluru Adinam in the traditional Pandya style.
पापनाशिनी त्रिभुवन पोषिणी विशेषिणी ज्ञानदायिनी नित्य आनंदेश्वरी जगदीश्वरी शरणं श्री नित्य नित्येश्वरी करुणसागरी.
We now enter into the year 28th of April 2020. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the day 8 of Paramashivoham Season 2 and presided over the 5th day of Chitrai Brahmotsavam, offering worship at the feet of Devi Meenakshi and Somasundareshwara Paramashiva in Adi Kailasa and Sarvanya Pithas all over the world. The Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism worked further on raising the consciousness of the delegates by bestowing them with the Nataraja Bhava Samadhi darshan for the day. And on the last year of the 28th of April 2021, the ambassadors and delegates of the Kailasa nation received the Shakti Pada and Shakti Nipada with the live darshan of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism conducted the season 27 of the Paramashivoham Convention. Additionally, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism blessed all with the Parashakti Arulvak darshan, where all the ministers and ambassadors of Kailasa had the rare opportunity to ask for healing, blessings, and answers to their life questions by Devi Parashakti herself. Many grand revelations were provided by Devi Parashakti during those sessions in regards with the future of the world, the reason of the coronavirus, and the Vedic remedies that were going to act as a protection against this global issue. And with that, we come to the end of this wonderful segment of the glimpses of the glorious past. And we thank each and every one of you who have joined us for this beautiful segment. We will now be entering into the alive satsang of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. So let's all get ready to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism. Please sit straight. Come to a space of deep gratitude and authentic listening. And let us now get ready to receive the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
Paramashiva's message directly from Kailasa. Listen. The existence of the super consciousness consciously, powerfully reflecting into your conscious existence, and your conscious existence recognizing your possibilities and powers of your superconscious existence is superconscious mutation. I wanted to make it very clear. This word mutants is misunderstood all over the world, especially the Hollywood movies and TV serials. The way they project the idea mutants, that is not the way Hinduism reveals about the conscious mutation. Please understand. The Hollywood movies and TV serials, what they talk about mutants is people with extra power, but not enlightenment or the intelligence, compassion to handle the power, compassion to handle the responsibility. It is more like a unconscious mutants from the lower worlds. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Patala. The lower worlds. That concept only is presented in Hollywood movies and TV series like a Heroes, the New Heroes TV series. All these presents almost kind of a frightening depiction about the mutants. Completely forget about that. Understand what Hindu Shastras, Hindu scriptures, Vedas and Agamas, Puranas talk about superconscious mutation. From the vertical time zone, the higher conscious beings, people who achieved superconsciousness, those beings, their superconsciousness, when that reflects in your individual conscious existence, you start manifesting great enlightenment, intelligence, compassion, highest order of human values and divine qualities. With those jnana, buddhi, higher values, you start manifesting powers, extraordinary shaktis. Please understand. In India, even 200 years before, this was a lifestyle. Every village will have few Shatavadanis. Shatavadani means a person who can perform 100 acts at a time. Please understand. Great Vedic scholars in Hindu tradition developed these powers, possibilities through the superconscious mutation, through this superconscious mutation, they could perform 100 acts at a time, because all their non-mechanical parts of the brain was awakened through this superconscious mutation process. I want all of you to know elaborately our Hindu scriptures, history, books have documented. Puranas are not mythology or myth, it's a history. They have documented these superconscious mutants, people who had the superconscious mutation experience. The Panchapandavas' birth itself is a superconscious mutation. Kundi received the power to make the superconscious beings give their DNA and give birth to kids through their DNA. She brought Surya's DNA with the blessing of Surya. That superconscious mutant is Karana. Till the end, his great value, the greatest value of Surya is just giving. Radiance is his very nature. Anything Karna had, he just gave. The quality of giving, radiating, could never be removed from Karna because he is from the DNA of Surya, the greatest giver, Bhaskara, radiating. He gave his very life. He is the extraordinary giver. Then Kundi brought the DNA of Yamadharma Raja, Yama, who is the Lord of natural law, Dharma, and gave birth to a child in the same signs of superconscious mutation. Till the end, Dharma. Yudhishthira never violates Dharma. The way he upheld Dharma is unimaginable. It's because superconscious mutation. Then comes Bhima. It's a superconscious being, Vayu. His DNA was brought, and Vayu's very DNA, superconscious mutation has been done, and Bhima was born. The power Bhima radiated, the power of Vayu Bhagavan, the power Bhima radiated is unimaginable. Arjuna is a superconscious mutant of Indra. Then Nagula and Sahadeva, they are the superconscious mutants of Ashwini Kumaras. These great beings are all superconscious mutants. understand, our idihasas, Puranas elaborately document these superconscious mutation and the signs of superconscious mutation. There's an elaborate description of the 7 enlightenment cities, Kashi, Kanchi, Madura, all these 7, Mayapuri, all these 7 enlightenment cities each having the population of 10,000 Sahasravatanis, 1 lakh Shadavatanis. Sahasravatani means who can perform 1,000 action at a time. Sadavadani means who can perform 100 action at a time. Please understand, what I am talking is not story. Even as recently as now, there are documentation in Mohal's court where they start awarding Shatavadanis. They start giving awards to Shatavadanis. There are documentation. In front of the court, people performed this 100 acts at a time. Forget all of that. Even now, in Andhra, the Telugu Brahmins community, they are keeping this tradition of avatanis alive. The living stream is not dead. It is there still. It's there. Shodasavadanis, Ashtavadanis, still the tradition is there. In Andhra, the Telugu Brahmins tradition, and even the Telugu Brahmins who came and settled in the banks of Kaveri in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. All the 3, Godavari, Karnataka, Kaveri in Karnataka, Kaveri in the Tamil Nadu. In all 3 places, the Telugu Brahmins who came and settled are still keeping these Avadani traditions alive. Actually, there's an elaborate description how these rivers are energized with the superconscious energy for these Avadani traditions to be kept alive. The Ganga was used for Sahasravatana, Sahasravatanis, people who can perform 1,000 acts. They settled in Kashmir and Kashi. Then the next level, people who can perform little less than 1,000, but around 900. They settled in Yamuna. And you need to know, after the Ganga and Yamuna, people who can perform above 500, but less than 900. That group settled near Godavari. That is why when we describe the rivers and worship, Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati. Saraswati does not come third. Godavari comes third. Then comes Saraswati. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri. It was different settlement of different Avadanis. There's an elaborate description of how these Avadanis are trained and how this science was kept alive. Avadani's training is one of the aspects of superconscious mutation. More than Avadanis, Another important aspect of superconscious mutation is ability to use the astras. Ability to use the different organs, senses. Listen. Ability to use different organs and senses. That superconscious mutation is avadanis. You will have an extraordinary capacity to smell, think, write poetry, recollect the numbers, names uttered, means the jnanendriya, karmendriya, manas, chitta, buddhi, memory, everything will be fully active, alive, intensely, simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically. That is what is the definition of being an avatani. All your jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. Jnanendriya means the organs in your system which receives information and processes. Karmendriya means organs in your system which performs actions. Jnanendriyas and karmendriyas and the internal organs who are responsible for jnanendriyas and karmendriyas to be fully active and alive. Sorry for using too many Sanskrit terms. I'll try to translate every Sanskrit term I'm using and give English meaning. The knowledge receptors and action performers, these two organs, for example, tongue, when it tastes, it is called jnanendriya. When it speaks, it is called karmendriya. Same tongue, when it performs the action of receiving the taste and processing that information, it's called jnanendriya. The same tongue, when it performs the action of talking, it's called karmendriya. Like that, the jnanendriyas and karmendriyas and the internal organs which are responsible for these jnanendriyas and karmendriyas to be active. For example, liver. Only if your liver is absolutely detoxed and fully active, you will have a deep ability to coordinate all the actions. Please understand, coordination of all the actions needs not just the support of the brain, it needs the support of your liver. Because your liver is responsible for all your internal organs functioning smoothly. So, the avadani has to keep his whole body detoxed. If you are an avadani, you will automatically keep your body detoxed. Only if you are detoxed, you will be able to be an avadani. Keeping all your karmendriyas, jnanendriyas and internal organs active, alive, simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically, in a synced way, is called avadana. I myself have seen an avadani who can smell, listen to the music, taste some of the food items, and hear the numbers, flower names, various other names being uttered, and see the scenes in front of him, which is constantly changed, various paintings, mix all this and sing poetry without missing the order. We can see everything, listen everything, and during this whole process, somebody will be touching